we wanted, I think we had started giving generalized definition of a stress at a point. Hmm? 'Cause one view we have taken a, under uniaxial load we have given a normal stress concept of normal stress and shear stress on an inclined plane. Shear stress is parallel to the plane direction of shear stress and normal stress is normal to the cross sectional plane. That first we did it with uniaxial load, and then I said let us define what is stress inside a deformable body. What do you mean by stress at a point? Stress at a point, because stress differs, changes from point to point in a body after you compress it or after you subject it to load. So, what is the best way to understand the concept of stress at a point? Best thing is to go there and somehow you cut the body into two, passing through, that means cut through a plane which passes through that point. But now you have a facility, you have no control on the orientation of the plane. So, plane can be like this, it can be like this, in any orientation. But as long as it is passing through that point, you cut this body into two parts. And then I said that the two parts of the body will be subjected to some kind of distributed force system. And I told you that each or every point is subjected to what? Two. One is a linear force, a small force distribution, delta F, and also a moment. Okay. So, that is called moment. So, every particle, every point of this cut plane will be subjected to a force, a small force and also a small moment. This is the. Now, if you divide that small force by the unit area, then you will get some kind of stress, a measure of stress, but then which area to take, that we have to decide. But if you divide the force by the area, you will get a measure of stress. So, one will be the stress, normal stress, which is force divided by dF divided by the dA. dF divided by dF is the small force divided by small area around that is a normal stress. That is what we normally define, and we have defined in the case of uniaxial stress. And then the dm, delta m, that is small moment that is acting there, small couple that is acting there, that divided by the same area will give you another stress, a measure of stress, that is called couple stress. Now, in most of the normal studies of mechanics of solids, the effect of couple stresses is neglected, but they are important in special situation. If you want to find out stresses around or in close vicinity of a load, where the load is applied, you want to find out, that means near stress concentration or near support or near cavity. Supposing there is a small hole, a small cavity in the body, and you want to find out what is the stress distribution around. So, the concept of stress distribution, just like water in a river, if the river is uniform width and the water will always flow from higher elevation to the lower. So, it will be uniform. The moment you put an object, let us say you put some body inside, or you stand in the flow of the river, what happens? The streamlines, they get disturbed, they get deflected, and then there is a lot of what you call eddies that are generated. So, in fact, on the other, you have the normal and you also have some negative pressures that act on the your body. So, similarly, in a solid, if you have a regular solid and if you create some kind of you remove some mass from the solid, make it non-uniform, then around that place where you have removed the body, removed the mass, you will get stress concentration. That means, stresses will be highly disturbed there. Some components will be very high. So, you have to be careful, or the place where you apply the load stresses will be very high, okay, where you apply the load. Away from the load, it is uniform. So, anyway, in such cases couple stresses. So, we will also not take the effect of couple stresses at the moment, we will only have the simple stress dF by dm. And then I told you that so now let us say that one part of the body is something like this, and another part will be, I am not drawing the another part, and normal to this is the cut plane, and normal to this is n. So, area is defined by, so this is the normal to the plane, and you will be having smaller, and so let me take a small area over here. The area of the total cut may be, let us say, A, area of the total plane, is area, and this area, the small area around this is I am considering delta A. On this delta A, you will have a force delta F that is acting. We are forgetting delta M. This now delta F is not coincident with N. So, you will have this can have delta F can have two components. We can also take a component along delta F n, and we can also take a component of this force F s, such that delta F is, you are having the two components of delta F n, and that is I n plus delta F s. So, there is one direction I have taken, this s can be taken anywhere on the plane. So, I have taken two components, one parallel to the plane, other normal to the plane. So, that can always be done. So, you can always have, in fact, in 3 dimension, I mean this is in general, I mean this is, but if you are referring to, so this is, so this one delta F n divided by delta F. Please be careful, it is not concept of stress, definition, etc. is, you have to pay attention to the details. So, you understand it once, and I am sure it will stay in your head if you are attentive, but if you are not, then you will never understand. So, this one divided by delta A, see delta A is now whatever area is there that we are considering, and that delta A is having an outward normal n. So, this will be normal, this will define by some stress which we call sigma, which we call normal stress. And then I told you the other day that delta is a finite quantity, it is small, all right, but it is a measurable quantity. So, stress at a point, this point P is always when you take this quantity, this quotient or this ratio in the limit. And what is that limit? Limit as delta A tends to 0. So, this is the definition of, because you have to say that yes, it is stress defined at a point. So, that means you must take, you have learnt what is the concept of limit. So, that is what we are using here, this ratio in the limit becomes stress, normal stress, and then delta F s divided by delta A, again limit delta A tending to 0. This is parallel to the plane. This is a total, we denote it by a notation tau, and we call it shear stress. But the point is, at the same point you can have orientation of the plane anything. So, now we are in a difficulty. This I have defined with the reference to a plane whose outward normal is n. But what about somebody else, n dash, another plane, n double dash, n triple dash, So, there will be n number of planes that can be passed through this point, and still you can divide the body into two parts. So, best thing, let us restrict ourselves to Cartesian system of coordinate. What is Cartesian system of coordinates? Cartesian x, y, z, x, y, z. Cartesian is orthogonal and non-orthogonal. Orthogonal. First, we are referring to all our coordinate system that we are studying. They are all orthogonal. All the axes are orthogonal to each other. But there are cases you can get good amount of or good number of bodies which can be best described by a non-orthogonal coordinate system. So, there are also non-orthogonal coordinate system. Okay? The angle is not 90 degree, it will be like this, skew. Okay? And because if you use this coordinate system, perhaps you can geometry of the body can be defined better. But then the mathematics becomes very involved. If it is non-orthogonal, it becomes very involved. So, it is for specialized. Later on when you master this, then perhaps you can go to non-orthogonal. So, we are referring, or we will be sticking to only orthogonal coordinate system. And so, what I will do, I will divide the same body by 3 planes at the same point P, but I will take 3 planes. One plane whose outward normal is in x direction, another plane whose outward normal is in y direction, another plane whose outward normal will be in z direction. So, I am going to divide, cut the body through 3 planes. So, let us see how does your body look like. So, first the one where, so I am drawing I should have been this should have been dotted. So, this is x, this is y, and this is z. So, I have cut the body, the same body which was subjected to some kind of force F1, etc. I have cut it, and the point is same P. Now, I will consider a small area around this point P. Now, this outward normal, this direction is x, outward normal also is in x direction. It is still cut into 2 parts. I am considering only one part, I am showing you only one part. So, on this part of the body, this area is what? What should I call this? This area is not the same area. Area also is a vector. Originally, I had taken a body with any general n, and then that area I am calling by A or delta A. See, total area is A and small area is small area around point P is delta A. So, what is this here? This will be, because this is, so let us call this A x, this area is A x. So, A will be, I mean it will be like this, your A vector area, it is like A x I, the components are A j and A z k. So, if you are cutting at the same point P, and these are the areas that you are getting, and the same thing will hold good also for delta A's. There is no difference between total area and elemental area. This is a vector. So, this area is A x, and obviously, this small area also will be subjected to some distributed force delta F. Now, this the distribution will be different. Now, there I had considered delta F. Here distributed force, because the orientation is changed. So, distribution will be different. Now, let me take the component, because now I have got my coordinate system. So, let me call this that I have some distribution of force here, but then I take 3 components. So, here it is delta F x, the 3 components are, that means the force also delta F, which is acting here, is also delta F x I Is it clear? We are considering a small area around point P, whose area is delta A x, and that point P, now that small area A is subjected to these 3 component forces are a general delta F. So, general delta F, let me draw, yes, this is F. Now, I will take 3 quotients. I think I do not know whether I had reached last time up to this point, but I remember delta F x divided by delta A x delta F y A. These 3 ratios I am taking, and let me take the limit of all this as delta A x tends to 0, limit as delta A x tends to 0, delta A x. Now, you tell me what should I call these ratios, because these are the 3 ratios. One out of these 3 forces, one is a normal force to the area and 2 are parallel to the surface. So, 2 will be shear stresses and 1 will be normal stress. So, one is normal stress, we are denoting by a letter sigma, and shear stress by a letter Greek letter tau, but then I cannot have only both tau. There is a difference between this ratio and this ratio. So, here yes, this is on a plane whose outward normal is in x direction. and the force is also acting is x direction. So, we'll call this as sigma x x. The first subscript will define the plane. First subscript defines the plane. So, in fact, let me put first x everywhere. So, this defines the plane where this is stress, this is stress is acting on a plane whose outward normal is in x direction. So, everywhere I am putting. Then the next subscript I will define the direction in which they are acting. So, this one for example, is acting in x direction, this one is acting in y direction, and this is in z. So, I have got a definition that now and which I have generalized on a plane. So, I got like this three quantities, one normal stress, and two shear stresses acting at point P when I cut the body into two parts by a plane whose outward normal is in x direction. But somebody may say, no, why should I cut only in x direction? Somebody will cut it in y, whose outward normal is in y direction. So, okay, let us take that also. So, we will do this. Another thing here itself I will say, supposing I denote by this, sigma is all right. What was wrong in supposing I had denoted by this? This also has tau. First subscript anyway denotes the plane, and second subscript denotes the direction. So, whenever the subscript repeats means that is a normal stress. So, nowadays the modern notation is they use single Greek letter tau, and they say that there is no need to distinguish, because in olden days we used to consider normal and shear stress in our own engineering way for simple problems. But when we generalize this, so in those days people were not very conversant with this notation. But now people say, why should I have sigma and tau? I can denote it by tau itself. Tau xx means it is a normal stress. Tau xy means it has to be a shear stress, because the subscript is not on a plane whose outward normal is in x direction, but it is acting in y direction. So, y direction obviously is a tangential direction. So, tangential means it is a shear stress. So, even if it is like this, think that you should know that this is also normal stress. Okay? Or if you want to use sigma, then some people say, why should I use double subscript? Once you say sigma and in your mind it is already fixed, sigma means normal. So, this normal is acting on which direction? Why should you have two subscripts? So, this can also be denoted by simply sigma x. There is no need to have two subscripts. Two subscripts is all right for this if you denote it by tau, but sigma, on one side you are saying sigma means normal stress. So, I am just showing yes, it is a normal stress on a plane whose outward normal is in x direction, finished, only one subscript. So, even sigma x will be all right. So, you follow whatever but you be consistent. You can use this notation, this is modern notation, everything by tau. This is a mixture of old and new, and this one also is, in order to be consistent, people use double subscript, but it means nothing. So, on this you have got definition of three stresses. Now, let me take a cut plane of the body. So, this is my cut plane, I have cut it, this is a small area, normal is here. Now, normal coincides with y direction. This area will be delta A y. Same point, area is on 3 planes, you will take A x, A y. So, this will be A y. So, now again, and obviously, this particle P will be subjected to some force. Some force. Again, this we can take component of this as okay. So, this now again I take 3 ratios. I will take delta f x divided by delta A y, delta f y. So, this is these 3 ratios again I am computing. Again I am taking limit of this as delta A y tends to 0. And then these 3 ratios, now it is on a plane whose outward normal is in y direction. So, I define this. Now, first let me do it by tau and then I will make it one of them sigma. So, first subscript defines the plane. So, it will be y, and this is x direction, this is in x direction. So, this will be y x, this will be in y. So, y y, this will be y z. So, it is so simple, but if you do not understand this logic, then you will never be able to understand. So, this is first subscript defines the plane, second subscript defines the direction in which it is acting. So, I have got now 3 definition, and wherever the subscript is repeating means this means, because this is a normal force, because delta y delta f y is a normal force divided by the area, this must be normal. So, you can also denote this by sigma y if you like, just to. So, there is one normal stress and 2 shear stress. So, you have got another 3 definition. Now, these are all different. It is not, there is nothing that matches with the previous one, because now area is different, orientation is different. So, this is a quantity. This is what is the problem with stress is, the stress is even if you cut it. So, this. So, you have got 3 more ratios, and at the same point, and since we are restricting our coordinate system to Cartesian system of coordinate, we have got y x, y y, and now there we had got x y. You see, if you see here, it was x y, not y x, and it was x z, here it is y z. So, these are different, but remember this, these are all small quantities, these are intensity of forces. What is the dimension of this? Force divided by area. So, these are intensity of forces, force per unit area. And now, in the same way, I will have one more the last one, because I am restricting to, I cut the body into two parts by taking yes. So, now the normal is in z direction. This area is at the same point P, point is same. So, I again have three ratios, and ratios are okay. Before that, I must have the component of forces, three forces. Limit yes. So, this will give you three new definitions. So, again let me say that this will be my intensity of force tau, and this divided by a. First of all, it is what is the normal? It is z. So, normal is defined by z. So, first subscript will be z, and this is in where is f x, is it not? This is in y, this is in z. So, it is x, y and z, and very clearly now you can blindly say that yes, this can also be denoted by sigma z, because the subscripts are repeating, means it is a normal stress. Force is normal to the area. So, it is a normal stress order 2r. So, this way, by cutting the body into two parts by three planes, plane x, y and z, we have got 9 quantities. So, and this is very important. Nine quantities. You got 9 and let me just organize them. First, the first one was when I cut the body by an x plane, this is how it looked like, and I have got tau x x, tau x y, tau x z, tau x x, tau x y, tau x z. So, let me put it like this: tau x x, I am using tau here, tau x y, tau x z. Second time was a y plane. So, you got tau yx, tau yy, tau yz. So, let me say tau yx, tau yz, second row, and third time by the z plane, it is this tau zx, tau zy, tau zz. So, tau zx, tau zy, and tau zz. So, 3 rows I am 9 quantities I have just arranged, and what is the matrix? Arrangement of numbers put in a rectangular, it means nothing. It is not a scalar or a vector or something. Matrix is just arrangement of numbers. So, let me write down, let me put this. I have 9 quantities, I have put them in box. 9 quantities, 3 by 3. Now, most by writing like this, one thing is very, on all the diagonal, you have got quantities which are all normal stresses. Off diagonal terms are shear stresses. But then this is on a x plane in y direction, this is on a y plane in x direction. This is on a x plane in z direction, this one is in z plane in x direction. Similarly, this one is this one and this one. I am just trying to say whether it is not symmetric. This is on a y plane in z direction and this is in a z plane in y direction. There is some relationship, but then that is why. So, that is so this is called stress matrix. This is my stress matrix. Stress matrix 3 by 3, not 2 by 2. 2 by 2 is the simplest. I mean, even n by 1 is a matrix, or 1 by 1, 1 by n also is a matrix, but that is a one dimensional. So, this is a 3 by 3 and there are 9 quantities, and these quantities depend not only on the direction of the force that divides the two bodies, that separates the two bodies at point P, but also on the orientation of the plane, and we have taken 3 planes because we want to restrict to only 3 planes because of x, y, z coordinates, otherwise there can be n planes. So, life will be very, very complex. So, if you restrict to only 3 planes orthogonal, so we got this. So, these quantities we call them a tensor. Stress matrix or stress is more than a force. Stress quantity is not a force, but it is more than a force. Why it is more than a force? Because it is a quantity which not only depends upon the direction of the force which divides the body into 2 parts, but also on the orientation of the plane which divides the body into 2 parts. Orientation, by what orientation you are cutting, and that is, and that way we will come to 9 quantities. So, this one is a stress, we also call it stress tensor, TENSOR. So, now you got a new. So, like scalar, you have first we had known scalar, what is a scalar, then vector, and now you have got also a tensor. Then what is a tensor? I explained to you what is a tensor. Tensor is more than a, and this tensor, I am sorry, not tenor, TENSOR, tensor. This tensor, now I do not want to go into the, there is a tensor, I mean course on tensor only tensor, just like you have vectors. So, this is a second order tensor, we call it. So, stress is a second order tensor, you learn about it later, second order. Why it is a second order, that you T and SOR. So, stress sigma is a second order tensor. It is a second order tensor. Now, it can be proved, I will not, that this tensor is a symmetric tensor. It can be proved, and I will prove it by simple. It can be proved that this tensor is a symmetric tensor. What do you mean by symmetric? Symmetric means these quantities and this, they will be same. Symmetric. So, once it is symmetric, so stress will be, stress is a symmetric second order tensor. Now, slowly you will come to know about this. 8, 6. Can you now, if you have a practice, let us try to, around a point P, I construct a small element, because now I have got 3 planes, x plane, y plane and z plane. Let me take out a small element out of the body. So, that will look something like this. This is just around point P. I have taken the sides are delta x, delta y, delta z. The side of this. So, this is x, this is y and this is z. Let me, this is origin O. I have constructed a small element whose sides are, this is delta x, this one is delta y and this vertical is delta z. So, volume is delta V, volume is delta x, delta y, delta z, and this has been constructed around point some P is inside here, inside this small element I have. Okay. Now, quickly, I have got 5 minutes. Quickly, x plane, I want to show the stresses that are acting on the positive planes. Just now I have learned that on a x plane, this is my x plane, positive x plane, there will be. So, let me show the stress value at the center. It is, after all, see, although I have drawn a very big diagram, it is infinitesimally small, all delta x, delta y, delta z, they tend to 0 to define a point P. Okay, ultimately, so you only expanded it. So, here you will have these 3 stress directions. One will be what? Sigma x, then tau x y and tau x z. This is y plane. What will be the stresses? sigma y, tau y z and tau y what? Is it okay? Tau y x, is it clear? And this positive plane z plane, what will be the stresses? Sigma z, yes, please tell me what will be this tau z y and tau z x. So, on a positive 3 planes I have shown you the stresses, the 9 components, 3 3 3 9 components. So, they look like something like this. We can also draw on the negative planes, because this element after all must remain in equilibrium. Every particle must remain in a state of equilibrium. Areas are same of all the sides. So, the forces, net force must be 0 acting on this. So, can you draw it also on the negative plane? What will be the direction of these stresses? First of all, there must be, there must be equilibrium must be maintained, and all the other planes are negative planes. The other 3 planes are negative planes. So, in order to keep this element in equilibrium, what will be the direction of the stresses on negative planes? What will be the direction? Because this element must remain in equilibrium. Every particle. So, for example, this side, if there is a force sigma y here, this is the corresponding negative plane. Y is negative here. So, sigma y direction should be what? It should be this way or this way? On this, it should be this way, then only equilibrium can be maintained. So, what is that? That is a negative y direction. So, but then the stress is not negative, stress is positive. So, on a negative plane, stress is positive if they are acting in the negative coordinate direction. On a positive plane, stress is positive if they are acting in the positive coordinate direction. So, do not say negative stress on a negative plane. So, please draw, because if I draw all the negative plane, all the stresses, if I had some different color, let me try. Here, this is negative z. So, negative z, you have sigma z, you have this. See, on this one it will become very crowded. So, you can also draw a separate cube, a separate parallelepiped you draw, not cube, but parallelepiped, because delta x, delta y, delta z is there, not same dimension. So, you can draw on the negative. So, this one will be tau z y, and this will be tau z x. What will be here? This will be sigma y, then downwards, and then x direction, but negative, all are negative, and then this face is the back side. So, back side you have one direction is this, other is this, and other is this. Please draw. So, this is, so we have drawn on all the 6 faces. There are 6 faces and all the stresses are drawn, and they have all the positive direction. So, do not say this is a negative stress. Why? Because if you say negative, I mean, first of all you draw positive stress on the positive plane, then you bring in the concept of equilibrium, then you say my element must remain in equilibrium. So, in order to keep that equilibrium, direction must be like this on a negative plane. So, these are my positive stresses. At a point, stress are still positive. So, I have drawn on all the faces your 9 components. Now, I am only saying it can be proved that this one and this one, they are meeting here, tau y z and tau z y. You see, this is a common edge. Similarly, tau zx is this and tau xz is this. So, again they are meeting on a common edge here, and then on this common edge is this and this y x and x y. See, somehow they are meeting, and on the other side also they will be meeting, even on the negative if you see. So, understand this. I have seen students drawing one direction like this over here and this direction like this over here. It is not arbitrary, it is from basic concept. This has to be like this, these two directions like this. So, it can be proved that these stresses will be equal. That means, tau, it can be proved that tau x y will be equal to, I have not proved it, tau y x, tau y z will be tau z y and tau z x will be x z. This can be proved. That means, if you have two planes like this, this is the common edge, this vertical edge is the common edge, then this shear stress here and this shear stress here, they must be equal. They are called complementary to each other. If you have a common edge, the shear stresses are complementary to each other wherever they. So, anyway, we will take this up in the next class.